Bem-vindas e bem-vindos. Mais uma pessoa aqui entrar. Dar umas primeiras indicações técnicas, portanto, tirar o som de momento para começarmos, para que possamos ouvir os nossos apresentadores. Sempre que precisarem de falar ou quiserem intervir ou colocar alguma questão, por favor, podem colocar cá em baixo, e peço que vão abaixo do vosso visor, diz reações, e tem lá a opção que é levantar mão. Basta clicar e eu ou o Ricardo estaremos atentos para então dar a oportunidade de falar em qualquer pessoa que necessite de expor alguma questão ou até dúvida ou curiosidade, está bem? Temos aqui já alguns mentores. Obrigada, Camila e Juliano, por se juntarem a nós. O nosso querido convidado está escondido. Eu não vos vou dizer onde é que ele está, mas está cá presente, já está a olhar para as vossas carinhas. Muito boa tarde, Fernanda. Obrigada por estar aqui connosco. E eu vou aproveitar para falar português, porque quando o Amos começar a falar, eu tenho que falar inglês. Portanto, eu vou aproveitar enquanto posso.
E se calhar, quer dizer, eu sei que algumas pessoas estão atrasadas, mandaram aqui mensagem, por isso vão entrando, mas também para de alguma forma darmos aqui uma estrutura de mindfulness a nível de tempo, se calhar vamos iniciando, está bem? Então aqui, para já, muito obrigado da minha parte, e faço minhas as palavras da Sofia, obrigado por estarem connosco. Hoje temos um convidado aqui ainda escondido, que vai só aparecer quando for chamado, está aqui mesmo ao meu lado, o Amos, Amos, que gosta de ser tratado por Ami. Is that right? Ami. Yeah. So, por isso, bem-vindo a todos. É com enorme prazer que temos hoje cá, então é o Amos Carmeli, que é o presidente da Perach Internacional, nosso parceiro, e irá partilhar a sua história, a experiência do projeto Perach, que tem mais de 45 anos de existência e que já foi implementado em mais de 25 países. O meu nome é Ricardo Vieira, eu estou como atual direção do programa MentorART, que em conjunto com a Fundação Gulbenkian, e hoje temos também connosco o Pedro Cunha, da Fundação, vai falar um bocadinho também. Portanto, queremos trazer a experiência da Perach, a metodologia da Perach para o nosso país, com o objetivo de ajudar mais crianças e jovens que necessitam e que beneficiarão de um apoio personalizado para o desenvolvimento do seu máximo potencial. Enfim, sabemos que a pandemia potencializou desigualdades, aumentando ainda mais o fosso entre comunidades e entre pessoas, e que existem, por isso, cada vez mais alunos a serem deixados para trás. O programa MentorART quer contribuir para que haja cada vez mais pessoas a lutar para que isso não aconteça, pessoas que investam o seu tempo e energia de forma focada e produtiva, num apoio próximo, num apoio intencional. Então, o programa MentorART baseia-se na criação de uma rede de mentores universitários que vão apoiar, inspirar e capacitar crianças e jovens mentorados, especialmente aqueles que mais necessitam. Por isso, é com orgulho e com muito prazer que este fim de semana terminamos o terceiro dia de Bootcamp Capacitante, já com a nossa equipa de primeiros mentores quase prontos a estar e intervir em terreno. Enfim, e sem mais introduções, também para dar aqui agora um momento, passo a minha palavra ao Pedro Cunha, que é o nosso grande parceiro aqui. Isto é uma colaboração muito próxima da Gulbenkian. Pedro.
Olá, muito boa tarde, ou boa noite já, agora no horário de inverno a todos. Amy, good afternoon, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to have you here with us. Eu vou continuar em português, já tive a oportunidade de falar um bocadinho com o Amy antes de estarmos todos online. Eu vou ser rápido, eu não vou justificar porque este projeto em Portugal. Eu julgo que nós temos uma audiência de convictos e, portanto, eu vou poupar-vos à retórica sobre a importância deste tipo de intervenções. Vou saltar para a parte seguinte. Eu tenho três mensagens-chave, três palavras na realidade, para vos deixar. A primeira é de gratidão. Gratidão para com os mentores que resolveram dar um pouco de si. Eu tenho um aviso para vos fazer. Eu também fui voluntário e também dei explicações enquanto fui estudante universitário. E eu não dei grande coisa, mas aquilo que recebi marcou-me para toda a vida, e se hoje faço o que faço, deve-se, em grande parte, à experiência que tive enquanto voluntário em Portugal e fora de Portugal, no meu percurso universitário, devo dizer-vos. Portanto, se acham que vão sair da vossa vida confortável para ajudar alguém, desenganem-se. Quem vai receber ajuda são vocês. E isto vai marcar-vos para o resto da vossa vida. Portanto, uma palavra de gratidão pelo esforço que vocês estão a fazer de sair da zona de conforto. Depois também uma palavra de gratidão, naturalmente, para as escolas, para as universidades, que aqui estão presentes hoje, para os formadores, eu vejo aqui pelo menos 2, a Isabel Ormi e o Neil Mason, que vos vão acompanhar, que vos vão receber, que vos vão entusiasmar nas horas em que for mais necessário manter a motivação em alta. Quero deixar-vos uma palavra de grande gratidão e de reconhecimento, porque eu sei que para muitos de vós isto não é nada de novo. Para as escolas, para as universidades, que já têm estas redes há muito tempo a funcionar, deixar-vos uma palavra de gratidão pelo trabalho que já fizeram até aqui e também pelo facto de terem aceito este desafio que a Gulbenkian e a MentorART vos deixaram. E depois uma palavra de solidariedade. O Amos é o grande especialista aqui, eu não lhe chego sequer aos calcanhares, mas nós sabemos que não basta juntar 2 almas para que a magia aconteça. Isso pode ser verdade noutros contextos da nossa vida, mas não é seguramente verdade na educação, na aprendizagem, no ensino. Não é assim que funciona. Não basta juntar 2 almas. Tem que haver um racional, tem que haver método, tem que haver evidência a suportar aquilo que acontece quando as 2 almas se encontram. Porque, enfim, conversas interessantes todos temos. Capacidade para aprender, nem sempre. Ou possibilidades, oportunidades para aprender. E aprender não me refiro apenas aos conteúdos académicos. Eles obviamente são muito importantes, mas aprender sobre a vida. E há método, há evidência, há ciência por trás disto. E este convite que resolvemos fazer ao Amos vem precisamente nessa senda. Nós queremos muito aprender com mais de 40 anos de experiência sobre o que fazer quando finalmente o mentor está à frente do jovem na escola. O que é que de facto pode acrescentar valor? O que é que de facto pode ser eficaz para que a vida de ambos mude no melhor sentido? Portanto, a terceira palavra é de solidariedade, porque eu sei que é difícil fazer as coisas bem. Exige esforço, exige perseverança, exige tempo. E daí a minha palavra de solidariedade. Nós estamos aqui desde o princípio e continuaremos ao lado da MentorART pelo tempo que for necessário, porque entendemos que este projeto é absolutamente fundamental para o nosso país. Portanto, um bem-aja a todos, uma ótima sessão, and Amy, thank you again for your presence here.
Pedro, obrigado pelas suas palavras, obrigado. And okay, without any more time, I will invite Amos to join us to the meeting, and Amos will share the history, the goals, the purpose, and the lessons from Perach. Amos.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us this evening. Before starting anything and talking about Perach and what it is and why it is, let me tell you a little story that probably will be a good beginning for Perach, and probably will tell you a little bit of who we are and why we are there. Okay. I have a very, very good friend, and this guy is traveling everywhere around the world, and every time he comes back to Israel, he comes with a another nice or interesting story. And what I would like to share with you is the story I've heard from him a while ago. And it was really something very special. He came back, I met him, and I asked, "Hi, where have you been this time? What did you see?" And he said to me, "Well, this was something really special. I was in Mexico," he said, "in the southern part of Mexico, by the sea. It was evening, twilight, and it was kind of an enchanting evening. I was alone on the beach, which stretched for kilometers from one end to another. Quiet, calm, just the noise of the sea, of the waves. But suddenly, I've seen something interesting far away. And I thought to myself, this should be a person over there, isn't it? So I started walking towards this thing or figure that I've seen in there. And I saw it was a man standing over there, quite far from him, and doing all sort of kind of gymnastics, or what it seems to me like he bent and throw things. And so I approached the man, and when I came near to him, I saw it's an older man, and he was picking up stones and throw them into the sea. So I approached him and said, "Good evening, sir. I was just, interested to know what are you doing here with those stones?" And he looked at me and said, "Hey, look at them. These are not stones. These are fish." And he said, "So what are you doing with all these fish?" Starfish, by the way. And he said, "Look, this is low tide now, and all these fish left here, on the sand, on the beach, can go back into the sea. And if they stay here for a long time, they will suffocate and die. So what do you do with them?" I return them to the sea." And my friend looked at him and said, "But good man, look at this shore. There are so many thousands of them down here on the beach. What difference you can make by taking 1 and 2 or 10 and throwing them back into the sea? There are thousands of them here." And the older guy looked at him and then picked another fish into the sea, looked at my friend and said, "You see, I've made all the difference for this one. This is Perach. We try to make all the difference for this one and that one and the other one and another one and another one. Well, Perach is in Hebrew. It's a flower, just a flower, any flower. But Perach is also in Hebrew the acronym for a tutoring and mentoring project. So it's a name which combines two things. First of all, a flower, which is a nice, colorful thing, and always aspiring high. Every flower is looking at the sun, higher up. And Perach, the acronym, says who we are. We are a mentoring and tutoring project. Perach. By the way, it's good to be here in a country where is okay. Try to do it in America. They just can't. So, Perach is a mentoring project, a national one, which was inaugurated almost 45 years ago, a long time for a project. Shall we turn? Let's see who we are. As I just mentioned, we are a national mentoring program about which every student in Israel knows. Meet any student in Israel, asks him or her, hey, did you hear about Perach? And the answer, I can assure you, will be, of course, we have it in our university. Or you can meet a person in the street and ask him, hey, do you know about Perach? And the answer probably will be, which Perach do you talk about? The one in the garden or the one at the university? Well, about 25,000 university and college students participate in this project every year. And during the years of its existence, more than 750,000 students and over 1 million children have participated in this program and benefited from it. During the years, numerous new programs have been established all over the world and follow the Perach's basic ideas and methods of operation. Few words about mentoring. This is a kind of a special relationship between an older person and needy youth. A child, adolescents, and even going further. Mentor is a trusted advisor, is a private teacher, is a coach, is an advocate, a true adult friend to a child. And think of it. Only a mentor can be all of these together in one person. That's a mentor. A mentor is not just someone that a child or anybody else wish to lean on. He's the one who makes dependency and leaning on others unnecessary. That's the point. We are not looking for giving crouches to a needy child. No. We wish to teach him how to walk by himself, not to lean on anybody, just himself and by himself. It is well known, by the way, that behind most successful people in the world, there was always, you'll find a mentor who helped, advise, and guide these people into life. It's fantastic, but it was found out years and years ago that it's happening. Behind, we used to say that behind every successful man, there is, of course, a woman. But in our case, behind those successful people always was someone, not his parents. His parents too, but someone else who helped him, advised him, guided him into the world, into life. And just to end that, friendship is the main component, I would say, of mentoring. And at least at Perach, most couples, mentor and child, become the best of friends. So friendship is so important for mentoring. Okay. Let's look at one angle of what mentoring is doing. Let's compare time spent by various people or organizations for one child. A teacher. Most teachers in the world teach a lot of young children. Teacher has to divide his or her time between many children, almost never individually. And mentoring, usually it's one-to-one. We'll talk about it later. Private teacher. Well, I wrote there if, because we are talking about families, we'll talk about them in a few minutes, that in most cases cannot afford private teacher for the child. So if there is a private teacher, he works with the child usually not more than once a week for an hour. Many children in my country, in the world, are going to clubs and other enriching activities, youth movements and others. If they do go there, because these children that we talk about, it comes from the same families I mentioned just a minute ago. If they go, it's for an hour a week. And once again, never individually. never with the child at the center of it. So, what's left? Parents. They're obviously the ones who are close to the child, love the child, wants everything good for him, and surely spend as much time as possible with the child. So, guess how much time a parent devote for one child in his or her family. Guess for yourself. And now we'll see what research says about it. Yeah, that's true. On the average, parents spend 14.5 minutes a day with the one child.
Should I share the screen with the participant?
Yeah, please. Okay, 14.5 minutes a day. That's all. But, well, a Perach mentor, we'll talk more about it later, but Perach mentor devotes 4 hours every week with and for his or her child, and just for him or her only, 4 hours a week. More than the parents, more than any teacher, more than any club or okay. The goals of Perach are quite simple. Not so simple to achieve it, but the goals are quite simple. First of all, to give every needy child in the country the opportunity to fulfill his or her potential. It's just terrible to see how many children in so many countries and communities in the world, because of circumstances behind or above them, cannot fulfill their true potential. What a terrible personal and national loss. To narrow educational gaps between children. You can divide the children in the world like other people, those who have and those who have not. And we are talking about children who are coming from families who have not. And the gaps between those who have and those who don't is terrible. And we wish and try, and our goal is to try to narrow this terrible gap, which is just enlarging year after year after year. From children in the same country, in the same conditions surrounding them. And to provide scientific and enrichment programs for those needy children, whose, as I mentioned before, not in a position to send them to such programs that many, many other children can go. And on the other end of this tango for two, to increase the university students' awareness of the country's social and educational problems and to develop in them values of social responsibility. So we have kind of two clients in our goals. Needy children on one hand and university students on the other. We'll say a few words about these and these. These are the goals. We'll see a little bit later if we can achieve them, if we did achieve them. And growing a future generation of better citizens and leaders. The main kind of ingredients of such a project are just few, and let's see who there are. Okay, first of all, serving the neediest, those who will be called the children from now on. So to serve the children of the country, those the neediest. Oh, sorry. And working with the best. We call them the mentors or the students. University and college students are, so far, up until now, in any country in the world, the university and college students. These are the best of the best any country produces or can produce and has. These are the future leaders of every country. We involve all parties, the parents, the schools, the universities, the municipalities, the governmental agencies and ministries, foundations, and more. Everyone who can give a hand and help, we would like him aboard. And guidance. Guidance is very important because we are talking about young children on one hand and young people, relatively young people who are not professionals. So we should give them a lot of guidance, and we do it ongoing, on the job, all the time. Guidance and support to the mentors, to their coordinators, and our staff. And using external incentives in the form of money or accreditation or others according to the possibilities in each country, in each community. And by the way, we provide maximum mentoring hours a week, a month, a year to our children. This is more than in any mentoring scheme or project we know, and we know a lot of them all over the globe. So these are the main ingredients, let's call it, in our project, which at least few of them are different than any other programs we know about. Okay. That's the way we look like. That's the structure of Perach. And I'm sure you can see that this is a kind of a pyramid, but a different kind of a pyramid. Because this pyramid is upside down. Its head is down here and not above. Because the most important people at Perach are mentors and children. Then the coordinators. We have close to 600 coordinators around the country. Each one of them, all of them, used to be mentors before. And all of them are university students. So they are what we call the cream of the cream. They are the best among the best. Then, well, we have team leaders and regional directors. Perach has 7 regions in the country. Israel is a small country, but still, Perach is a very large program. So we have 7 regions, 7 offices in universities and colleges in Israel. Now, the less important people, but we can't do without. We have our head office in a small town called Rehovot. It's about 20 kilometers from Tel Aviv, south of Tel Aviv. And in it, there is one of the most successful scientific institute in the world, the Weizmann Institute of Science, it's called. So we have our head office over there. We have the board of directors and council, wider council of 25 people representing the universities, the government, and many other bodies. Okay. Yeah, 7 regions, and this is the structure. Well, unfortunately, there's a mistake here. The regions are going up until here, of course. Yeah, all the rest is the head office and those who are kind of above us. Okay. Just a few words about a typical Perach region. The office of every one of our regions is located at a university, and we don't have a lot of them in the country, or a large college. All of these colleges and universities that we work with engraved social responsibilities on their flags. And that's what we're looking for. Those who believe that university is for the people too. Well, let's take just one example. The southern region of Perach, located in the city called Beersheba. It's the capital of the southern part of Israel. We have over 3,600 mentors in this region and 86 coordinators who are overseas what they do. And we operate in all towns in the area. It's the largest area in Israel. It's about half the country. It's actually a kind of a desert. A lot of nomads, Bedouins, and we work with all of these Bedouins, towns, little towns, and settlements. Now, I can say that every Perach innovative project has started at one of those regions, universities, offices. The first science center, we used to have 9 of them, today there are just 5. The first group activity, the word HEP means Health Education Program. We started in that town, Beersheba, in the Southern University. Now it's spread all over the country with hundreds of medical students participating in that program and tens of thousands of children who study about the most important thing in their lives, themselves, their health. And our first academic course at any university, we started there at the same, what we call Ben Gurion University at the Negev, at the southern part of Israel. Okay. Few words about where it came from. So we know that mentoring is nothing new. Mentoring is as old as humanity. It started at least a few thousand years ago, if not before that, with the Greeks. The word mentor came from Greece, from Athens. And the first person ever who wrote about mentoring in a book that we all know called the Bible. King Solomon was the one who wrote about mentoring, and you can find it in the Bible. Mentor a child, he wrote, in the way he should go, and even when he's old, he will never depart from it. So King Solomon, almost 3,000 years ago, understood so well how mentoring is important for a child. And he predicted over there and then that such a child is going to take what he learns, what he got from his mentor all his life. He will never depart from it. The next guy is Karl Marx. We know about him too. And Karl Marx said, probably, but it fits him, something like everyone should get according to his, no, should give according to his or her ability to each one according to his or her needs. The basics is simple, matching needs with abilities. And that's exactly what Perach is doing all the time. We are taking the needy ones, the children, and match them with the abilities of the best, the university students, the mentors. Needs and abilities just match together. Well, Milton Friedman, Professor Milton Friedman, he died about 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, actually, in 2006. Oh, wow. It's 15 years ago. He got the Nobel Prize for Economy, an American professor, and he talked a lot about there is no free lunch. And we repeat it all the time. We believe that just those who are ready to give, entitled to receive. We'll see in a moment or two what is to give, what to give and what to receive. Okay, that's Milton Friedman. And the Pygmalion effect. Now we're not talking about a human being. It's, you know, Pygmalion, it comes from the theater. The script was written by a wise Irish person called Bernard Shaw, and the Pygmalion's effect, what it says is that believing makes things happen. If one believes that he'll do something, he will do it. If we believe that someone is good, he'll be good. And that was proved in hundreds, if not thousands, of researchers. The Pygmalion effect. Believing makes things happen. We use it all the time with our children at Perach. We wish that our children will start believe in themselves. The way to succeed starts with them. And they should believe that they can do it. And we tell them all the time, yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you believe that you can, you'll do it. Okay, a few words about the children. And I'm talking now about the children, Perach children in Israel. I know them best. All of them come from disadvantaged backgrounds, from poor families, poor neighborhoods, problematic neighborhoods. Usually the schools are not the best in the country. All our children are coming from there. 20% of our children come from single-parent families. It's not easy to be a single parent. Surely those who are coming from this disadvantaged backgrounds. 22% of our children are new immigrants in the country. Immigration is always problematic for grown-ups, surely for young children. And by the way, many of these new immigrants are coming from Africa, from Ethiopia, Black Jewish people that during the last 10 years or so, tens of thousands of them emigrated from Africa to Israel. 25% of our children come from the minority groups in Israel. Mostly these are Arab children. And 9% of our children are children with all sorts of disabilities and difficulties that we try to help them not overcome the illness, because we can't, we're not doctors, but to make life easier for them, to give them someone to talk to be a friend to. So these are the children of Perach in Israel. I can assume that many of Perach-like projects in the world are like these. Now, every child needs a friend. Every grown-up needs a friend. Surely every child needs a friend for whom he'll do almost anything. And as I mentioned before, Perach actually provide an older friend, a university student, but older friend to these children. Just a few words about learning. This is from a booklet provided to the United States Congress, thank you, years ago. Everyone at any time of his life, or her life, of course, can learn anything if knowledge is provided to him or her in the right methods. That's the main point, in the right methods. So they all can. We just have to help them by providing them the knowledge, the way to think, the way to learn in the right methods. Well, these lines were written 2,500 years ago, 2,500 years ago, by a very wise person who lived then. I hear, he wrote, I forget. I see, I remember. But when I experience, I understand. The Chinese philosopher Confucius lived about 2,500 years ago, wrote that, and he was so right. And by the way, in each one of our science centers and other centers that we have, we experience exactly that. Not to see and forget, but experience and understand. Oh. Children don't learn from someone they don't like. It's a fact of life. We like it or not, it's a fact. We don't learn from someone we don't like. Let me tell you a little story about that and about myself, because this is something I experienced by myself. In our high schools, at the time, we could choose second foreign language. The first was English, and the second could have been either Arabic or French. Well, I choose French. Ask me why, I'll tell you the truth. The nicer girls were there. So I went there too. But this is not the story. Madame Machlis was our teacher of French. 4 hours a week of French. I hated the language and the teacher. And that's what I learned. Every time she came to our class, she was standing at the door, not inside the class, at the door. She was standing there, pointing at me, and I was down there at the end of the class. And right away from the door, Amos, she used to say, quitte la classe, which means leave the class. And the ritual was that she used to say, Amos, quitte la classe, and I used to answer her in Hebrew, not in French. I couldn't do it. But my teacher, I haven't done anything, so why? And she used to say, Amos, it's not because anything you have done, but because of what you will do. Quitte la classe. So that's my French today. If you ask me if I speak French, well, yes. I know just 3 or 4 words. Amos, quitte la classe. I know, fantastic. So, I don't know French. I didn't like it. I didn't like the teacher. And one can't learn from someone you don't like. Okay. We have a project that we called Every Child Needs a Friend. Now, what's special with this project? It's few books or booklets, manuals, if you want, deal with mathematics, deals with language and other topics. What we call the hard or the difficult topics. So, the most interesting thing in this project is that it wasn't built for a teacher and a pupil. It was built for friends. It was built for a young child and an older, not a child anymore, but an older mentor to do together, to work together, to learn English or math or even Hebrew through games, through playing. The children love it, the mentors love it, both learn from it. Most children, unfortunately, don't like school. But all children in the world share one thing. They all love to play. And that's, as we said before, to provide the knowledge to him or her in the right method. And as all children love to play, we should, yeah, exactly that, play with them. And we have learned long ago that everything, or almost everything, except maybe nuclear physics or something, but almost everything can be played, experienced, and learned from it. So that's another thing that we try to do all the time. To find the right plays to make experiences with the children, and to teach them through it. Well, we don't have time. I have a very nice little story, but
I'm giving you pressure now.
yeah, but my boss here is with the hand on the watch all the time. Okay, so let's keep going, and maybe another opportunity I tell you the story about Joseph and loving the school. Okay. Vision, probably one of the most important things we all need. It was found out that IQ, even though I know it's almost unbelievable, but IQ and family backgrounds are not key indicators of successful pupils. So what is? If IQ and family backgrounds are not, but the characteristic that all successful pupils share is a profound and positive vision of the future. So another thing that we are preaching to our mentors and try to show them how to do it and what they should do with the children to provoke them to think of, to have a vision. We do it all the time. A vision, a positive vision of their future. Combine that with Pygmalion effect, and you're a winner. Okay. Few words about the mentors. Never forget them because they are integral part, important part of this fantastic tango of two. All our mentors are university and college students, all of them. If anybody wants to join Perach and he or she is not a college or university student, we have to tell them we're sorry. You can volunteer, we'll have them, but you can't become a regular mentor and get whatever we'll talk about. They come from all fields of study at the universities and colleges in Israel. So we have a variety of peoples and fields of knowledge of studies. We can do so many things with these young people. So, few words about them. They are surely the largest and most powerful force for social change in any country in the world. You can't find in any country such a large and powerful force. They are young, but not too young anymore. They're bright, they're energetic, they're intelligent, capable, resourceful, still have some free time. Most of the university students are still bachelors, not married, no mortgage. And so they have some free time and not too cynical yet. It will come with age and experience. But today, and they surely are going to be the future leaders of our and yours nation in the very, very near future. Look at these university students and you'll see our leaders. And they're becoming younger and younger in time. So, to sum it up, even though we are not talking about professionals, they are not. But with the right incentive and guidance, these guys can work out miracles with the children. I'll try to show you that too. Okay. So what's happening to the mentors, to the students after participating in Perach? Okay. Studies and research show that the students' involvement in Perach activities produce character-related changes within them in a few fields. Let's see it. Social responsibility. Awareness of social and educational problems in the country. That's very interesting. These activities, even though they're not academic, they're not of what you go to the university for, but still, it makes university life more meaningfulness for these students. And as many of them tell us, Perach for me was the most important lesson I have learned at the university. We loved it. Yeah. They, and it's found out in researchers, show commitment to future civic engagement or even career for life. And that's interesting, those who study teaching become better teachers after graduation. When I showed it to quite a number of directors, presidents of teachers' colleges, they were amazed. How wonderful. So, and now we have thousands of these students enroll to Perach and become mentors. And so important for everyone, it increased self-competence, leadership, and interpersonal skills. Very, very important for anyone, each one of us. Few words about education at large, and then we'll continue. And well, I believe that education at large, it's actually acquiring a basic knowledge, thinking strategies, and learning abilities for today's world. But higher education, universities, colleges, they teach us a profession. They teach us how to be a good lawyer, good accountant, good engineer, and that's an important thing that we use. Higher education students, university students, are young, usually healthy, and usually come from a well-off background. Yet, they are subsidized by the public. You can't imagine how much higher education costs the taxpayer. So they are subsidized by the public, by the taxpayers, by us all, while paving their way up the social ladder. Many of these youngsters at the universities are sons of doctors, engineers, and many other professions, good professions and profitable professions. And we just help them kind of pave their way up the social ladder. Many of them will do better than their parents, become wealthier, etc., etc. Okay. Civic values, we talked about giving. Probably you all know this sentence and who said it. Ask not, he said, what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. JFK, John Kennedy, in his inauguration speech in January 1961, on the steps to the Capitol Hill. And John Kennedy did not talk about the hills and the rivers and the nice United States. He talked about the people of the country. What you can do for the people of your country. And that's exactly what we ask all the time. So instead of just paving their way to higher places, we ask them what you did. And Milton Friedman said, and we follow him with that, there's no free lunch. You get from us, from the taxpayer, from the people, from the communities, you should give something back. And we are not asking anything that you can't give. Not money, not anything physical, just a little bit of your time and a little bit of your heart. That's what we ask for. And every university student can do it, can make it, can give it. Okay.
I will just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, so that the people can ask some questions.
Yes, yes. Okay. I'll try to give it a push. Well, good. What we do? One-on-one, one student, one child, and more than 80% of our mentors are working one-on-one. One student, one child. About less than 20% of our students, every percent is many hundreds. We're talking about thousands and thousands every year. One student, sometimes two students, work with a group of children. And they work on various subjects, sciences, the wise consumer, we call it, health, nature and environment, entrepreneurship, sports, excellence, nature, chemistry, arts, music, drama, name it, we have it. Years and years and years ago, we started this project we called HEP, Health Education Program, with medical students at one university. Today, we have hundreds. And we have competitions between the children on what they know about their health, etc. And it's unbelievable how they learn what they know and understand. And we use them as agents for the good health of their families. And they bring problems from home to the class, to their professors. And this program alone is a real lifesaver of people. We can correct problems for children who can't see well what's going on in the classroom, can't hear well what the teacher is saying, stories about cancer in families which was not treated, and these students all can talk with their professors about it and look for any kind of help needed. And the last thing that we do at Perach is all sorts of centers around the country. We have 48 what we call enrichment centers. It's little libraries of games, plays, computers, and books. We have our own libraries, and children come, pick up books, read them. You can see the shelves are half empty. Communication and science centers, it's fantastic places where children are coming to play and learn in the process. Just fantastic. Last year, we have in these centers of ours about 250,000 visitors in these places. Usually the place itself is given to us by the municipalities. Thanks. By the municipalities, and all the rest is upon us. We raise the money for it. We, of course, train and provide the mentors and tutors, the students for these centers too. Okay. So that's what Perach is doing, the activities of the program. What we give, what we ask for, requirements and rewards, give and take. Let's see. each student has to give 4 hours a week with the child or the group he works with. Each student. 25,000 students multiply 4 hours a week, and we are talking about how much?
100,000.
An engineer, 100,000 hours a week into the educational system in the country. Two hours each session. For the entire academic year, which is in most countries around 34 weeks every year. So this is a real commitment. And by the way, each one of our students sign a kind of a contract between himself or herself and Perach. I'll give this and I'll get, it's in the contract too, what he gets back. Scholarship or other incentives. Scholarship is just another name for money. So even though it's called scholarship because it's attached to the yearly tuition fees at the university. So money or other incentives like academic accreditation. So quite a number of our colleges and few universities give academic accreditation to our mentors for what they're giving to the communities. And, well, travel expenses to the children and back home or to the university. So it's give and take. You're ready to give, you'll get. And that's once again right in the path that Milton Friedman wrote about it, few books. Now, what the children get? The contribution to the children, we passed a questionnaire among 500 schools. Perach in Israel alone works with 1,200 schools. And so we passed this questionnaire to about 500 of them. And what we found out is that after 1 year of mentoring, the children improved in academic achievements. Yellow is 4 and 5. Medium, it's the green, and 1 and 2 is very little. So let's look at these cakes. Academic achievements raised for 92% of the children participated in Perach in these years. It's between high and very high to at least medium. Just 8% low and very low. Learning motivation, 60 and 35, it's 95%. Medium to very high, and just 5% low. Social status. Many of our children don't have enough friends, isolated children. And look at this, 98% improved between medium to very high, have more friends. The status in the class, in the school is better. His self-esteem, you'll see in a second what happened to it. Self-esteem. 98% told us that they improved between medium to very high, and just 2% low. That's incredible. That's fantastic. I love these numbers. Now, let's say a word about the students. A college, a very large college in the southern part of Israel, just 2 kilometers from the city of Gaza, where the rockets coming into everywhere. I told Ricardo yesterday that I happened to be in this college, and after I left, half an hour later, a rocket fell at the parking lot and killed a student exactly where I was with my car half an hour before. Terrible. But anyhow, we, upon a request from the college, started a new program over there in which we work with the university students who need help. College students who are coming from the same families where the children that we work with are coming. And look what happened there. I was told that due to the fact that the students are coming from these families where, college and university could be on the moon for them. And the problem is that they're not ready for academic life and the pressures and the works and the level of studying. So within the first year, many of them drop out of the college, which is terrible for the students themselves and the families, because in many cases I've learned from the people at the college, in many cases, this is the first time ever this family kind of produced a student at a higher education system. So it's just terrible for the family and the student and what they all think of the college and the system, whatever. So these are the numbers. At that particular year, it was 2010, more than 20% dropped out of the college during the first year. More than 20%, and as they told me, it was a good year because we reached even to 30%, which is just terrible. After 1 year with a mentor, a fellow guy from the same college, same faculty, believe it or not, 3.5% dropout in 2021. No, 2011, sorry. After 1 year. That's what happened. So we help the children. In another program, we can help the university students too. And the demand is, well, every university, every college in Israel wants this program. Okay. Few words about where the students are coming from. You know the terms, ivory towers, we use it so many times. Universities considered to be ivory towers for many, many, many people who don't have a clue of what's happening there, what they're doing in these universities. They just know that it costs a lot of money to study, and it's very, very far away from them. Universities, we believe, should not be considered as ivory towers, but rather as lighthouses for entire communities. We believe that universities should be committed to excellence, to study, research, and social involvement. Universities are part of our communities, and they have so many abilities, so much power, so many young people who can give so much to their communities, to their people. Ivory towers. Well, money, money, money. We can't do without money. But Perach needs money. Perach costs a lot of money to the state of Israel and other bodies. But let's talk not only about money. So, overhead for Perach is quite low.
I have to ask you, 5 minutes. People have some compliments. It's 8:10 almost.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Sorry. Overhead is quite low. There's almost no need for what I call new money. Meaning, I can show, and I've done it a lot of times. I can show the finance people, those who give the money, that most of the money we need at Perach is in the budget already. So they have the money, it's in the books. Just what we ask is just turn these sums of money which are in the books already for the same purposes like scholarships, and make them a little, bend, a little U-turn for the same purposes like scholarships, but to do it through Perach. Meaning, if you want my scholarship, show me that you do something for it. At least one of our institutes called the Technion, it's a technical university, not humanities or something, engineers. And they decided 15 years ago or so that every student who comes to the management and asks for scholarship required to come with a note, as they say, from Perach. Show us that you are ready to give. not just coming to ask for. By the way, we found out that donors love the idea that the money they donate works more than once. Each dollar, shekel, euro, doesn't matter, pound, works few times for the student, for the child, and surrounding. There is social justice in the system. It's a bit complicated, so I'll leave it now. And it was found out by a company that specialized in looking for such a thing. It was found out that every dollar spent on mentoring will bring between $4.50 to $8 in return in the future. So it was investing the money in such projects. And I also said and can show that in most cases, money is not the problem against starting such a project. Making the decision is, and for many, especially governments, the word yes, okay, agree, are just not in their lexicon. It's very difficult for them to say it. But when they do, they're all thankful later on. Money-wise too, as you can see. Okay. Few words about the international. As you can see here, it's Perach International, so it means we work with other countries too. Singapore was the first country who started Perach many years ago, and it's fantastic working till today. Years ago, we had a delegation from UNESCO came to Israel to learn about all sorts of things, but they visited Perach and they concluded their study in Israel with these words. The need to replicate the Perach project cannot be overemphasized for any country. The introduction of Perach will go a long way in alleviating some of the current problems we face both in the educational and social spheres. Not me, they. UNESCO people from various countries. It was nice to have them with us and to read what they write at the end of these visit. I've been to many places in the world. I helped starting projects in quite a number of countries, you'll see in a moment. But one thing I have to emphasize. I found out almost everywhere I went that children, these usually beautiful, naive, nice children, and these students think mainly about themselves, looking for the good life, having fun, and their parents pay for it. And even the problems in Africa and in mighty America or Germany or Swiss or Stockholm, Sweden, even the problems are almost the same. So we are all live in a little village, and we are all share a lot of things, and certainly those concerning Perach and a mentoring project. Children, students, problems. To sum it up, I've learned the tutoring and mentoring project is needed and can flourish everywhere in the world, even though there are differences between countries and cultures, and the needs sometimes differ between countries and even communities in the same country. But they are needed for sure everywhere. Even in rich societies, I hear it. We would like to have mentors. Please send us mentors. And it's never enough. Whatever number of mentors we send to this place or another place, the next days they will ask for more. It can flourish just everywhere. In poor countries, in the rich countries, and most of the others. Try it. Just the map of the world and all these countries, I think there are certainly more than 25, maybe 28, something like this. Those in red, like Portugal, actually committed to start a project in the not too far future. Okay, recommendations, we got quite a lot of them, so I won't get into it. Awards, Perach got many awards, just to name few. Knight of Governing Quality, that's in Israel. We selected for House of Nations at Expo 2000 in Germany. Unfortunately, we couldn't go there, even though there were 60 million people came there. We couldn't go because it cost too much money for us, and we spent the money somewhere else. We were elected one of 4 leading institutes for excellence in Israel. We were chosen as first national prize for quality in the public sector in Israel. We awarded the Israel Prize, which is the most prestigious award given by the State of Israel to few individuals and institutes every independent day. So a few years ago, we were among those prestigious ones. And we selected by an international committee in Spain, not in Israel, as one of top 20 educational innovations. We were very, very proud to get it. Okay. All are winners at Perach. There are no losers. Let's see, children, families. I won't get into the details here, but believe me, it's all true and checked. Schools, teachers, universities and college, even then. Local municipalities, you should see the letters I'm getting from, I used to get from mayors of municipalities. Even the government, believe it or not. Sometimes we're not sure what governments are for, but even government is winning here. To finish, last words. Dreaming, I have to admit, I'm a dreamer. And but my dreams are usually different. I dream about millions of mentors all around the globe, working with at least as many children, needy children in all countries. They're all needed. So these are my dreams. I have a dream, said in a very, very famous speech, Martin Luther King in Washington, D.C. in August 1963. Not a long time before he was murdered, but he had a dream, I have a dream. And let's hope it will be fulfilled with your help. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Amos. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And by the way, I do have very nice stories. Some of them are even funny, but that's for the next time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the time. I would say we can reserve. I would say I don't know. I don't know how is your time, but 10 minutes for short questions, 2-3 questions. Amos will answer, and then we finish the session. So who wants to share a question with Amos? Amazing, thank you. Congratulations. This is thanks in Portuguese. Someone wants to push a question?
Fernanda Silva está com a mão no ar.
May I?
Yes, of course, okay.
Hello, good evening. Thank you very much for your presentation. I liked it.
Thank you
very much. I've also been a volunteer while I was a student in the university, but also after that, because it was really, really a great experience in life. But what I'd like to hear from you is about your difficulties in the project. I work in a school now, and sometimes with the other programs with volunteers, even from universities also. A problem that sometimes we experience is about commitment of these students from the university. Sometimes they used to prioritize their own study, for instance, because they were in time of exams in the university, and so in those times they in the last minute they wouldn't show up, and the children were a little bit sad because of that, and it doesn't make sense for us. This is only an example of one difficulty that we have experienced. I don't know of yours with such a long time of experience in this. Sorry, my cat fell down. With so many experience in all those years, what are the most difficulties that you came along?
Well, first of all, I know exactly what you're talking about. We know about, we just talked about it today, about the problem of the timing of exams at the universities, etc. We know it, we understand them. Don't forget, the universities and the students are coming to study at the universities, and this is their first priority, and that's fine, and that's okay. We should take care of their timing and to adjust it somehow to our needs or the children's needs. But the students are our clients, and we can't do without them. Without them, there's no program, and we are looking all the time for their time and how to do it. And we found few ways how to deal with it. Now, if you ask me about difficulties, mine as at the top of the organization were different, of course. And I can sum them up in one word: government, authorities, ministries. I have to admit, I've retired not because I wanted to retire. I retired because I was fed up from fighting non-stop with government, with all these ministries that, except of talking, they don't do almost anything. So, but this is from a different angle, of course. You're talking about practicalities, about day-to-day problems. We know about them. We found ways to work properly and still taking care of the students too. So it was said, I'm not quite sure by whom, that if there's a will, there's a way. And we have the will, and I believe that we found the ways. Thank you.
Thank you.
Someone else wants to raise a question? Yeah, I have here Camila. I can read it. I would like to know if the origin of Perach project has anything in common with youth movement in schools. I used to attend the NAD Akiva in Rio de Janeiro, and I did a kind of volunteer work during school time at Mashnut.
That's Hebrew word. Okay.
Camila.
Well,
Thank you, Camila.
no, there's nothing to do with each other. Youth movements in Israel exist for many, many years, and I was a member of a youth movement since I was in 3rd grade, and after many, many years, they called me back to be in the leadership of the youth movement. I know the value of our youth movement. I'm wholly really full of respect to them and what they do with our youth. But it's two different things. Mentoring basically is one-on-one. Tutoring is taking advantage of the special knowledge of many university students for the sake of the community, the environment, and the future of the country. So I'm not quite sure if I answered your question. It's great that you've been to all these machanot. By the way, machanot is a Hebrew for camps. By the way, there is a very nice Perach in Brazil for quite a number of years. It works mostly in Sao Paulo, but we've tried twice already to expand it to the whole huge country of Brazil, but up until now we failed. Why? Remember the word I've said before? Same thing in Brazil. Bureaucracy and governments are present in any country you name, and it happened there too.
May I ask a question, please?
Yes, of course, Paula. First.
You said, and I agree with that students only learn with people they like. Okay? Teaching, it's a very hard process. Even the teacher is very expertise in the matters he teach. Sometimes he can't get the enough attention of the students. Okay, and you said something else that for me as a teacher is very important, that students they all like playing. How can we, teachers, and perhaps become mentors, learn how to play with them, with the subjects we are expertise and we teach?
Okay. As far as I know, and I know mainly about Israel, but I'm definitely sure that you can find such people almost anywhere. There are experts today in the field of games.
Okay.
And how it contributes to the children, and how to do it in almost any subject. You just have to look for and find these experts and consult with them.
Okay.
I'm definitely sure that most companies who produce the games have their own experts who will be glad to come over and talk about it with the hope that you'll buy their games, of course. But there are people who are experts in this field.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I wholeheartedly
Thank you.
advise and to try to look for them and work with them.
Okay.
Games are very, very powerful tool to work with children. Due to the fact that, just as you said it yourself, all children love to play. So let's use this tool, if we can call it this way, to work with them. It's according to my experience, our experience, it works beautifully.
Okay. I think you are absolutely right, because when we play with them, okay, their attention and their learning, it's higher. But when we are, just take an example, okay, when we are teaching, when we are a teacher from a TIC school, and your degree formation and your basic formation is economy, okay, sometimes it's rather difficult to get their attention to the subjects they need to learn on for instance, informatic management, okay. It's not easy to get their attention to subjects that they are not core of their formation, okay. And this is why I asked this question, and I thank you very much your answer, because I'm teaching in TIC university, but I am from management and economy. So my classes are my subjects. Some in most ways they do not like them, and as you said in your presentation, when you do not like the thematics, or you do not like the teacher, it's very hard to make them to learn. Okay, but I will try to look forward some experience with other colleagues of my own with the TICs, and try to understand how can I play with them. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you very much. First of all, I have to say that I absolutely agree with you that teaching is a very, very demanding and hard profession. And by the way, it seems to me that it's becoming even harder and more difficult.
Yes. Yes.
Every passing year.
Yes.
But this is another story. And
okay.
I have to admit, I'm not a teacher. I've never been a teacher, so I'm not so familiar with what's bothering you. It is difficult. That's I know, but I'm afraid I can't help with the ways how to.
But it is everything you said, it was important, because as a teacher, I know I am not a mentor, okay? One-to-one relationship. But as a teacher, I have the commitment with my students to achieve some goals. And I try every time, every year, to be just like a mentor. I know I am not well succeed, but I'll still trying, okay? I'll still trying. And everything you said in this presentation, I think it's very special and helpful for new knowledge for me and new ways to be with my students, because I have students for several degrees. So maybe I can influence the students from higher degrees to help the other ones. Okay. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Paula. I don't know, Sophia was telling that someone was raising the hand. Perhaps the last question. Sophia.
Belmira Tinto.
Belmira. Belmira, então, estás com o micro desligado, Belmira.
So, good evening. I arrived late because I was in a different meeting, online meeting. So, but I heard very attentively because I'm really interested in the subject of mentorship. In our school, I believe, Escola Secundária Almeida Garrett, a former teacher was here, if I'm not mistaken. We are really interested in developing mentorship in our school because it is an added value, because unfortunately we, the teachers, we really don't have the time when there are 28 students in a classroom. And we know that we have all our students, they exhibit different skills, and it is, I wish I would have the time, because we only have sometimes 50 minutes in a lesson, and it is really difficult to help the students, mostly the students who have or who strongly fight against their difficulties. So I believe that this project is an added value, this mentorship. I don't know if I may ask, I may provide some information to Paula Serra concerning gaming. Well, we in schools, I believe that games are mostly done by kids at primary level, but for example, at secondary education or even with younger learners, we also do gamified activities, not exactly like games, because we approach the subjects, the different subjects, the different topics, but we do it in a playful way. And if you look for training centers, I don't know about high school or university level, but I believe there might be some training centers that could provide that training. And it is really helpful because we know our students, be it at school or at university, they belong to the generation that have the smartphone on their hands, right? And I don't know, maybe the lady, Paula Serra, you could find for these training centers, I don't know, try to search for them, and maybe there are some offers in this area, I don't know.
Thank you, Belmira.
Yes.
Well, certainly I can't answer whatever you asked. You know, I admit this is my I think third visit to Portugal, but this time I've been here 2 days, so I don't know enough about the country and the possibilities here, but you're an advanced country, and I'm definitely sure that a lot of things that I've known from Israel, I'm sure you can find them here. And yeah, we work with younger children and older children, and even as you probably seen, university students, college students. So you can work with any age and find a way to get him or her to listen, to experience, to understand. I'm definitely sure about that. It requires a lot of thinking, to be innovative, but it can be done. Thank you anyhow for coming and for your questions.
So thank you, everyone. I will stand up so we can just say. So I would say thank you very much for Amos to be here with us. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure, really.
Hear you.
My.
And I'm disappearing for the camera, and this is a magical trick. And thank you very much to all of you to stay here with us, listen us. And I think Amos told us a story about sharing. So if you share an apple with another person, every single one of you will have an apple at the end. If you share an idea and you receive one idea, at the end, both will have 2 ideas. So this was the idea of this sharing, to share ideas, and from ideas to move on and make an impact in our society, in our community, in the world. So thank you again to be with us. And again, Amos, thank you to be.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone. Bye-bye.
Great to be here.
Thank you, Amos. See you tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Really, you're fantastic people. And up until now, I'm so glad to say that all the people I met in the last 2 days were so friendly and so welcome. It's just fantastic, good feeling to come to such a place.
Thank you, Amos.
Thank you.
Thank you.